So, what can I get you this fine morning?
The worlds of food and restaurants are always changing. However, more often than not, it is actually the food industry that sets the trends and shows us what we should be eating and how we should be doing it. With that in mind, here are 10 food and restaurant trends that will define 2020.
I'll show you something. Come with me.
Non-human element.
Robots.
The world of technology marches forward at an alarming pace, and restaurants are happy to take advantage of all the new tech that is around in order to make the dining experience better for us all. While apps have been a big hit with restaurants, especially within the fast food market, self-ordering kiosks have also been a big boom. Put both of those things together, and most of us don't even have to speak to the staff in order to get our food.
Can I get a cheeseburger, please?
No.
Apps and self-ordering kiosks are set to expand even more in 2020. In fact, there are certain restaurants, such as McDonald's, which are developing face recognition kiosks. The idea is that you walk up to one of these kiosks, and if you have been in that restaurant before, it will recognize your face and know what kind of food you like to order. If face recognition technology wasn't enough, the world of dining is set to take on another science fiction twist with the introduction of robots into the kitchen. Not just for food prep either, but with a robot chef that has unlimited international cooking recipes in its memory. Now, having a robot in every kitchen with sophisticated AI technology is maybe a few years off, but expect to see more developments on this front in 2020. And who knows? One day soon, when you go to a fancy restaurant and want to congratulate the chef, you may be greeted by a robot.
This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
More diverse kids menus.
Have you ever had food from Africa?
Today, the world is full of foodies, people that love to try different food from different parts of the world, and who love nothing more than to share their love of food with the world. The foodies have expanded what it means to eat and enjoy food, and more importantly, they are the parents of budding foodies. With more and more access and exposure to different foods, as well as differently sourced food such as organic and local, children are growing up with a broader understanding of taste, flavors, and the whole food experience.
That's how you eat fancy.
Long gone are the days when all kids were happy with chicken fingers or mac and cheese. Nowadays, kids want sushi and other Japanese delights, as well as more Mediterranean and African cuisine. It is pleasing to see the younger generation growing up with a broader and more open mind when it comes to food. This is one trend we hope will continue to grow as more restaurants expand their kids' menus.
What are they?
Locavore Eating.
I assume you're a carnivore.
There are many trends that have sprung up in food over the last few years, and one of the big ones has been organic. Whether it is home cooking or restaurant-quality food, people want to know more about the food they are eating, where it's come from, and how it is sourced. While more restaurants and companies are getting behind the organic trend and sourcing their ingredients from a better quality and more sustainable source, the next big trend in food could be the locavore.
You are so loco, man!
Locavores focus on eating food that is grown and developed locally. You may think that being on a locavore diet may be good when cooking at home, but many restaurants are already behind this trend and proudly boast that their menus are all from locally grown farmers and distributors. So this is a trend that could really explode in 2020. The benefits of local eating isn't just to get fresher or more organic produce, it actually helps smaller businesses and local economies, plus it's beneficial for the environment too, as it cuts the carbon footprint and produces more sustainable food.
You can't eat the steak!
Why not?
More open kitchens in restaurants.
You shot a chicken?
Over the years, restaurants have changed dramatically. Gone are the days when fine dining meant sitting in a large dining room while the kitchen and staff were in another part of the restaurant, out of sight. What happened in the kitchen stayed in the kitchen. and we all just hoped that nothing untoward happened to our food. Nowadays, we all want to know everything about the food we eat, not just where it comes from or how it is prepared, but we also want to see the food actually being cooked. More and more restaurants are going with the open plan kitchen, so that the diners can see exactly what goes on in the kitchen. This trend may have started out with chain restaurants such as pizza and pasta places, but fancier restaurants and finer dining places are using this trend for their kitchens as well. The open plan style kitchen is showing the public that the restaurant has nothing to hide when it's cooking our food. Plus, it makes more of a connection between customers and restaurants that will make even the fanciest and most expensive of places feel a bit more warm and friendly.
Oh, for heaven's sakes!
Different butters and flours.
Don't!
The food world is constantly changing, and while some of that has to do with eating trends and even money, a lot of menu change comes because of allergies and food intolerance. Whether that's at restaurant level or home cooking, food intolerance is the driving force behind what a lot of people choose to eat. Two staples in the culinary world are butter and flour. Without either of those two key ingredients, cooking becomes very difficult indeed. While many people are becoming either allergic or intolerant to these two foods, alternatives have already started to become commonplace. However, in 2020, the butter and flour alternatives are set to explode even further. Creating butter and flour from nuts is not a new thing, but it is set to expand even further with the likes of chickpeas, macadamia, and even watermelon seeds being used more to produce an alternative choice for both intolerance to butter and for a truly vegan-friendly option. Flour is branching out into fruit and vegetables as things like banana flour will become more commonplace in our restaurants and grocery stores in 2020. Maybe one day, dairy-based butter and wheat flour will be a thing of the past and a distant memory, like VHS and cassette tapes.
And I do hope you ladies enjoy it.
Thank you so much, John.
Ew.
Less meat.
Favorite food?
Meat.
One of the big trends to come out of 2019 has been the plant-based burger. With so many fast food restaurants giving a meat-free option to their popular menu items, 2019 was definitely the year of the plant. Beyond Meat was one of the real winners of the plant meat movement, as their protein products really took off with fast food lovers who didn't want the meat.
Ain't nobody ever ordered nothing but T-bone steak and a baked potato.
2020 looks to be an even bigger year for the meat substitute. Not only are more restaurants, both fast food and fancier dining, adding this product to their menus, but grocery stores are expanding their range so we can all enjoy this meat-free product in the comfort of our own home. With more meat ranges and alternatives being added on almost a weekly basis, expect to see a lot more plant-based meat on menus and in grocery stores near you.
Tesco are taking the trend so seriously.
Fast casual restaurants will dominate.
Oh no. Are we at a way too fancy restaurant?
For many years, the world was divided into two types of dining experience: fine dining and fast food. The fine dining element meant any restaurant in which you were seated, had staff waiting on you, and you paid for everything after the meal.
Excuse me, can we get the check?
Fast food was completely the opposite. You get the food yourself, most people don't even sit down to eat, and you pay as you order. While both types are still hugely popular ways to enjoy food, there is another option that has been creeping up on us for the past decade or so, and that's the fast casual restaurant. This area of dining is the in-between ground between dining and fast food. While these restaurants don't offer full table service, they do promote a better quality of food than fast food restaurants, with less frozen food and more freshly prepared dishes with higher quality ingredients. Fast casual has boomed over the last decade, and this trend looks set to get even bigger in 2020, as more of us opt for the fast casual option when choosing our meals. The fast casual movement has restaurants such as Panera Bread and Chipotle Mexican Grill on their team, so expect this trend to become even bigger in 2020.
Bigger. Yeah.
Innovative food delivery.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
On our list of trends that look to change the food and restaurant world in 2020, one area that is becoming increasingly popular and more diverse is food delivery. No longer is takeout centered around the humble pizza or other fast foods. It has become big business for most restaurants who want their customers to enjoy their food in the comfort of their own home. Even home cooking has taken a big swing towards this area, as many companies offer meals to be cooked at home. They send you the fresh ingredients along with the recipe, so you can enjoy restaurant standard food that you make yourself.
Put some in there.
With the popularity of food ordering apps, usually from a third party, it's already a big business within the delivery market. Other areas of technology are being looked into in order to make food delivery better and more productive. Vehicle sharing and driverless vehicles are areas that are already being tested. Vehicle sharing has already become the norm when it comes to delivery food, but driverless vehicles have taken a big leap forward in recent times, and we may well be seeing more of this in 2020. The next phase of food delivery could well be taken to the skies, as drone use has been heavily tested with a lot of companies. We are not sure how far drone delivery is from being the main way we get our food, but we could see more of this kind of technology used in the up-and-coming year.
You're late. I'm not paying for those.
More diverse drinks.
What are you doing? Told you I need a drink, so I'm gonna help myself, okay, pal?
We have already mentioned on our list of food and restaurant trends that will define 2020 the non-alcoholic cocktails. While this trend does look set to explode and become part of the mainstream dining culture, alcohol is not ready to be beaten quite yet. Alcohol has had a big image change over the last few years, with more companies adopting a more artisan or stylish way of selling their products. Beer in particular has seen its image radically change. With more microbreweries and craft beer on the market, drinking beer has become more on par with wine tasting than it has with the frat boy image it once had.
Hello, my man. Looks like we'll be having these 2 old cases of beer today.
One big addition to the alcohol family that is set to be big in 2020 is the Korean drink makgeolli. This milky, off-white, sparkling rice wine looks set to topple the likes of sake and other Japanese wines and beers. As well as having new choices for our alcohol menus, wine is going to have some big changes in the up-and-coming year. The way in which wine is grown and made is set to change by switching to a biodynamic process, which means that the grapes have been grown to a certain standard of organic level, as well as treating the soil with supplements for a better growing cycle. Even the phases of the moon are taken into account when growing and then picking the fruit. With a more scientific approach to organic winemaking, the wine list on a restaurant menu could be even more satisfying in the years to come.
It's a hard grape to grow.
Non-alcoholic happy hour.
Okay.
When out for a dinner at a nice restaurant or having friends over for a home-cooked meal, there is nothing nicer than having a drink to round off the evening. However, one trend that has really started to get some steam is the idea of cocktails and wines, but without the alcohol. Known as mocktails, these non-alcoholic drinks have all the flair and taste of a nice cocktail, but won't give you that headache the following morning if you have one too many. More and more restaurants are promoting their mocktail happy hour, as this trend looks set to become even bigger in 2020. As a lot of people become more and more health conscious, alcohol is something that is being cut out of a lot of diets. So mocktails could really hold the key to still being able to enjoy the evening without the empty calories of alcohol.
That is so healthy.
Mocktails are also family-friendly, so people with young children or large families can enjoy a mocktail happy hour together, which is another reason this trend is becoming more popular.
Toast! A toast! A toast!
You'll find more great videos right here. Just tap on that screen. And if you haven't joined our notification squad yet, show us some love and slam that subscribe button and click that bell.